I had actually gotten to Master 1 a week ago before the Duelist Cup, but obviously I was prepping a lot for a Duelist Cup, so I didn't have time to record this. But yeah, the deck I used and the one deck that I was testing for the Duelist Cup and that I really liked was this.
Visa Starfrost.
Mannadium. So first off, why don't we count the URs in this deck? And actually, you know what? It's easier to just count the non-URs in this deck. Okay, so the non-URs for this deck are 3 Meek, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's it for the main deck. 9 non-URs in the main deck. 10, 11, 12. So out of the 55 cards in the main deck and the extra deck, 12 are non-URs, which means, by my math, that means 43 cards in this deck are URs. 12 out of 15 cards in the extra deck are UR, and 31 out of 40 cards in the main deck are UR. And you know, because this is one of those decks, you gotta go for the alt art Ash Blossoms, and you gotta go for the alt art Appaloosa, right? And I'm a failure. I am a poor pleb. I am a free-to-play player. I do not have the gems to get an alt art unicorn right now. I'm sorry. My bad. I know it makes the deck look ugly, but man, I can't. I don't have the gems to roll for an alt art unicorn right now. And what makes this even worse is that, you know, these cards aren't in the selection pack anymore. They rotated out, so you know, if you want to play Mannadium, you gotta hard craft all these URs. Goddamn. Alright, so Mannadium is a combo heavy deck that aims to build an unbreakable board turn 1. And in that respect, it gets a lot of comparisons to the other combo heavy deck in this game, which is Superheavy Samurai. And for the most part, I've seen that just a lot of people just dismiss Mannadium as just a worse Superheavy Samurai. Like, if you're gonna play a combo heavy deck that just aims to win the game on turn 1, you know, why not play Superheavy, right? Isn't that just, for the most part, a better deck? Not to mention a lot cheaper, by the way. And while I won't argue the price, yes, definitely, Superheavy Samurai is the budget combo deck out of these two. I'm not going to argue that one is specifically just strictly better than the other, because there are perks to Mannadium that over Superheavy Samurai, which is, you know, ability to play more outs to max seed. It's just, when you're playing Superheavy Samurai and you get max seed, it's like Ash or bust, and a lot of times you're going to be busting because, you know, the Ash is only a 3. Gamma is not a real out to maxi in Super Heavy, because once people realize that you're actually playing Super Heavy, they're not going to play their maxis into your Gammas. So you really just have 3 outs to maxi in that case. Whereas Mannadium, you know, you do have cross out, you do have called by, and also the way Mannadium works and the way its special summons is that a lot of its special summons are inherent and don't start a chain. For example, you summon Riumheart, then if you want to summon a Meek, your opponent would have to maxi preemptively before you summon the Meek, because this doesn't start a chain. Likewise, you summon Riumheart, they would have to maxi you before you link off Lightheart. So if your opponent does want to maxi you, oftentimes they're gonna do it before you special summon, so they're gonna just hard minus on the maxi first of all. So then, in that case, I really like Triple Tactics Talent. That's another maxi counter play, because your opponent always, they're never gonna they're usually not going even when they pitch max seed versus you. They're usually just preemptively doing it, so they're already down to 4 cards in hand if they do choose to max seed you, and then you can tactics them, look at their hand, take out another starter from their hand, and now they're starting their turn with 4 cards in hand. So it is considering that this format is a super hand trap and non-engine heavy format, a lot of decks you aren't gonna face a lot of decks that just have 4, 5 engine in their hand, right? Say for example, if you're playing Snake Eyes, right? Oftentimes you're only gonna have like 2 engine pieces, like 3 hand traps or 3 non-engine in their hand. So if you get max seed, then you tactics them, then you take out their best starter, and then it's a lot easier to deal with, because you also have your own non-engine to deal with their 1 starter. Potentially, if they only have 1 starter, then obviously tactics does end their turn. Also, you can tactics and see if they have an out to maxi if you have your own maxi, and then you can, like, for example, take away after you maxi, you can take away their Ash so that they don't longer have an out to your maxi. So then when they're starting their turn, they also have to play into your own maxi too. It's just tactics is obviously, if they don't have maxi, tactic is cracked. It's just confiscation. Like this deck plays through hand traps like nothing, similar to Super Heavy. So if they hand trap you early, and then you can just, oh, let me tactics your hand, take away your second hand trap, and then just fully combo off you and kill you, or you know, just take away the best starter. Yeah, I've won a lot of games that I've gotten maxied in just because I've had talents in hand. And speaking of turn-ending hand traps, besides Maxi, there's also another hand trap in this format called Dimension Shifter, which is doomed for 90% of decks out there, you know, especially combo decks like Super Heavy Samurai. Not actually the case for Mannadium. Mannadium is one of the few decks that has legitimate plays under Shifter. Now, it doesn't play completely under Shifter. It does stop some plays, such as your Vicious Ashram mostly, which means you can't really do your cross sheet plays either. It also turns off the Scareclaw arrival from your Scareclaw engine. But your main Meek plays, you can actually just completely do under Shifter. Meek can, even if Meek gets popped and gets banished, you still summon another Meek from your deck. Likewise with Calarium, the monster that gets popped with Calarium does not need to be sent to the graveyard to be revived with Calarium. So that means if you can summon a Meek and then pop Meek with a Calarium on the field, and then you still get both Meeks out of your deck. So you still get a lot of free material on the field, and you can easily make a Baron plus even another monster, such as a Appaloosa or even a Dissipator. And obviously, if you get the Dissipator can just revive all the monsters you synchroed with to get that you banished by synchroing, and you can just get them back to the Dissipator. So it's not unheard of that Mannadium under a Shifter can easily end on 2 or even more interruptions. Like sometimes you can even search the reframing counter trap too as another Omni Negate. So you imagine shifting your Mannadium opponent thinking you're sick, and then you're staring down 2 Omni Negates to follow up on the next turn, and you're like, well, I guess I just lost after shifting my opponent. And that's a quality that Mannadium has, just being the best, one of the best decks to play under Shifter that's not an actual Shifter deck. So we can go into the ratios. Most of these ratios are just fairly standard, like 3 Meek. You just want to run the 3 balls. You don't want to run more balls. You don't want your balls in your hand, okay? You want to play with your balls in your deck. You don't want to play with balls in your hand. That's not what you want. And 3 Riumheart, because you can only run 3. 3 Reichardt. Most people only run Reichardt at 2. I run it at 3 just because Reichardt as a normal summon is fine. It doesn't start obviously all your Mannadium plays by itself, but it combos with other Mannadium cards when you don't have full combos, since this is one of the weaknesses of this deck is that it doesn't have as many copies of Riumheart as you would like. For example, you have 3 Calarium and 3 Riumheart, and then you have like 3 Meek, and those are your Mannadium stars. If you don't open one of these, then you can't really access your Mannadium plays that well. Reichardt bridges with all the other Aqua cards to at least give you plays. Like, you can still end on Baron Appaloosa minimum if you open Reichardt plus any other card, even if it's not a good Mannadium card like Riumheart. Like, with Visa Starfrost plus Reichardt, that's still combo. Reichardt plus Meek is actually just full combo without needing, well, not a full combo, but you can do like a very, very good combo without needing Riumheart. Reichardt plus Obsidian, likewise. Riumheart plus Reichardt plus Imaginings also works because you can link it off into your Lightheart to search your Reichphobia, and Reichphobia searches your Visa Starfrost, and then you get just a Pot of Greed with the Imaginings. That usually is enough to get your plays going, all that stuff. And yeah, I just really like drawing to Reichardt. Drawing to Reichardt plus Riumheart also lets you play around Inperm by normal summoning Reichardt to check for your opponent's Inperm and Veilers, see if they want to fire them off, and you can dodge them if they do with Riumheart in hand too. It's like I've never sat drawing this card, and even if you do draw this card, if you normal summon this card for its effect, you can still special summon it later, so it doesn't affect your combos at all. Even if you do end up drawing this card, you can still search a second one later during your combo to special summon it, since the special summon and the add effect of Reichardt are 2 separate effects that are each once per turn. And the ratios for the spell, 2 Scareclaw Arrival is standard, not once per turn. By running 1, this becomes a brick because then you can't search it, but by running 2, it becomes not a brick, since then even though if you open one, you can still search the second one, then you can just use both of them for 2 Monster Reborns that turn. Imaginings, draw 2. When you have awkward hands, where like too many Meeks or too many Visa Starfrost, you can Imaginings, draw 2 and put 1 in the back. It also nice into max C. You can search this when you're under max C, so that you can just try to draw into more non-engine instead of just cards that only help extension, like Obsidian. Obsidian is 2 Obsidian is standard, searches your Calarium, and because Calarium is not a Mannadium card, you can't search it directly with Riumheart, so you gotta search this instead. 2 Reichphobia is because you always need 1 for the combo, and then the second one you can just search for free, because Lightheart is not a once per turn to search the field spell, so you can just make 2. You often do like just send this to the grave and then revive it, then link it off into a second one. You can link Lightheart into Lightheart, so you often search just 2 of these for free. Proto Rhino is most of the time it's a 3rd copy of Visa Starfrost, but also you need this in 1 card combos where you open Calarium, because then your Visa's Armitara, normally you would search Obsidian or Calarium with Armitara in order to search Visa Starfrost, but if you start with Calarium, then you can't search a Calarium since it's a hard one to return, so you gotta search the Proto Rhino instead to get access to your Visa Starfrost. So this is necessary for a lot of 1 card combo lines, and it's usually never bad to like draw. Usually never. It's usually not bad to just draw Visa Starfrost anyways. And yeah, 3 Calarium because it's the most you can run. And 1 reframing is just an Omni negate that you search off Armitara for your 2 card combos, which I'll show you a couple important combo lines to know of this deck after. A non-engine account, I'm running outside of from Maxi and Ash because I kind of have to, it's Master Duel. I'm running board breakers instead of hand traps because this deck doesn't have much room for non-engine. There's only like 13 non-engine slots, so you can't really get to the amount of hand traps where you can consistently open 2. So instead I'm running tactics and droplets. And there's a few cards missing. I'm sure that seasoned Mannadium players will be wondering where they are. I will get to that in a bit, don't worry. But yeah, Talon's, again, the best card going first. And as a board breaker, it's really good going second, since Mannadium doesn't need... Mannadium can play through Disruption, so if you just have 1 of these board breakers, such as Droplet or Tactics, to complement your hand, then you can usually break most boards. Such as, Snake Eyes, imagine you just Talons, they go IP into Appaloosa, and then you just Talons take their Appaloosa. And then you just kill him, because now you have protection against their plays, against their hand traps. With an Appaloosa on your field that you can just link off at the end of your combo to just help kill your opponent. Imagine linking off your Appaloosa into a 6k Access code. Like that's the dream, right? But obviously you don't need to do that, but for the BM you can. And Droplet is also, insane in the Snake Eyes matchup. You can just use this going second. Can be used to dodge Baylor and Infirm. That's what I really like about Droplets. You can use this to send your right cards and your Riumhearts to dodge stuff. And also, your 1 card combo, if it fully resolves, it can actually just break the entire board and kill your opponent. You get multiple pops because of Astrolaud popping monsters along the way, Axe Code pop cards, Unicorn spins cards. So your 1 card combo can, when fully resolved, can actually just wipe an entire board and kill your opponent. So because of that, you can literally go in second, you can Droplets, send 4 cards. And you would be alright with that if you know that they don't have like any more hand traps or set cards, because then with just a 1 card combo, you can still kill your opponent after Dropleting for 4. So yeah. And the cards that I'm sure the seasoned Mannadium players are running where they are the Fenrir and basically the Kashtira engine. So I'm not running this. A large reason is because Fenrir is at 1. So Fenrir is the only good card to draw in this package. Scareclaw Kashtira is, you need to run it as a Fenrir search, but drawing Scareclaw Kashtira is just really mediocre. This card is not really that great. It's a very, very conditional extender. It only gets you an extra body if you already can play the game. But it's not a starter at all. It's like just a mediocre extender at best. Rates Off is a card that I'm not even sure I would run if I was running this package, because the problem with Rates Off is that it modulates attack. So it has anti-synergy with your Meeks and your Riumhearts, because Meek needs a monster with 1521 defense specifically to summon it. That's why there's a lot of Mannadium, there's one complaint with Mannadium players is that Calarium modulates attack so that if you have to Ash Blossom in your turn to negate a Max E, but you have Calarium in the field, it makes you unable to summon Meek when you have Riumheart, because now the Ash is in your grave, the Calarium gives your Riumheart extra attack, and now you can't special the Meek. Well, imagine that, except like literally all the time with Rates Off. If you activate Rates Off, every single one of your monsters gains attack, just as long as it's on the field. So that like just turns off your Meek as long as it's on the field, and you need like a draw this in combination with other field spell in order to play. And you're not gonna activate this second. Like, you have to activate this first. It doesn't make sense to do your plays with your like specials on your Meek and all that stuff, and then later use Rates Off, because then you control monsters. Then there's no point searching Fenrir at all, because you can't even summon it, right? So I don't like the Rates Off in this deck at all, and Fenrir itself is like the only card that's decent to run, decent to draw. The problem with Fenrir is also not a starter. Like, Fenrir into Kashtira, if you don't open any other engine, also doesn't really let you play the game. You can't really do anything. You need to open a playable hand for Fenrir to be useful as an extender even. And like, the only cards where, you know, Fenrir might give you combo that you wouldn't have otherwise is if you draw Obsidian plus Fenrir, right? Like, hard draw Obsidian, not search Obsidian, because if you search Obsidian, you already had a play. So it's like randomly searching Obsidian, and then maybe Visa Starfrost popping Fenrir, but that's a really mediocre play. That's like your worst combo, and you can't even search 2 Reichphobias, like a follow-up Reichphobia for that. So I don't like a lot of the combos that Fenrir enables, and it's not that impactful as a going second board breaker this format, especially into what you would expect to be the most common combo decks, which are like Snake Eyes and Super Heavy Samurai. Like, just summoning a Fenrir into their boards isn't gonna amount too much for you. In fact, at the most you can hope for probably with a Fenrir is prompting a Promethean Princess pop. So like, it's okay you're training one card for Promethean Princess, but it's like it doesn't get your combo going, your engine going that way, because most of the time when they deal with a Fenrir going second, you're gonna deal with it before you get the search off. So you can't really get the Scareclaw Kashtira, and if you just summon the Fenrir, just have it die, and then you can't even search your extender. It's like it doesn't like what's it even for then, right? It's a mediocre board breaker that didn't get you your engine or any extra combo pieces. So it's like I would again, I like tactics and droplets as just more impactful board breakers going second. So yeah, that's why I opted to not include the Fenrir. And as for the extra deck, so double Ashloud at least. You know, some people can run 3, but you need at least 2 Vicious Ashloud, 1 Trisukta, Amritara, Baron, Disfader, Crimson Dragon, 2 Lighthearts, because as I mentioned, you can make 2 and search the second Reichphobia on the same turn as follow-up. That's why you gotta make 2. Cross Sheep and Appaloosa. These are the staples. And then you have like a few flex slots. Changing is just like the 3rd level 10 synchro. In your combo, you make a 3rd level 10 synchros, so you can make other options are such as Chaos Angel. You can make a Chaos Angel instead, so that your Appaloosa is unaffected and can't be run over by battle. You could make a Gamer Adrene, because Meek is a water tuner, so you can make this on your end board as a level 10 synchro, and then this it has banish and destruction protection, but also banish your opponent's cards. I just like Changing as the most generic one, because during this combo line you're searching Reframing, and Reframing has the second effect of you can banish this card and then shuffle 3 Mannadium monsters. You don't really care too much about the shuffling part, but because you can banish it as a quick play, you can trigger Changing's banish effect as a quick play whenever you want. So in my opinion, that is the strongest form of disruption out of all of the other level 10 synchro options, which is why I like ending on Changing. For the access code and Unicorn, I just like this going second. I think this is really good going second, because you just need to resolve 1 Cross Sheep play, and then you have Unicorn into access. Right, Cross Sheep, summon Astrolaud, pop your opponent's monsters, revive a card, and then that's 4 Link Generals on board. You just make a 5k access code, and then you're always doing the cross sheet play when you have a Baron on the field as well. So that's just quick and easy game over 8k that pops like 5 monsters on board. And as for the Dark, so there's another card that I think a lot of people I've been wondering why it's not in here, which is Accel Synchro Stardust. So before before Crimson Dragon, this was how you made this Vader a lot of the time, because this Vader needs a non-tuner dragon. So you would go into Accel and then revive Meek and then make a this Vader that way. With the release of Crimson Dragon, you don't need to do that combo line anymore. You're gonna use Crimson Dragon to go into this Vader 99% of the time now. Like, you're gonna Crimson Dragon target your Baron on the field and then shuffle back and then summon this Vader. So because that's how you're gonna access this Vader now, Accel Synchro Stardust becomes not a part of basically any combo anymore. None of your combo lines need to go through Accel Synchro Stardust anymore. And in my opinion, because of that, you rarely go into this at all then. And if you play the deck properly and you know what you're doing with the combos, you shouldn't need to go into Accel Synchro Stardust Dragon. What this card enables you to do now is just some weird lines and like weird board states with like your opponent interrupts you in a strange way. Or for example, if you get trolled and your hand has no monsters but all spells, then you can potentially like go and Accel Synchro Stardust to make a Baron under troll. But like that's the extent of the use I found for Accel Synchro Stardust. But I've never found myself actually going into this when I've been comboing off. So like I just ended up not running this anymore. I've exchanged it for Dark, which is a card that actually does come up since there's a lot of Dark monsters in this format, like Diabellstar. So it's if you, for example, Kashtira Unicorn is very popular right now, and if you get your cross sheet ripped from Kashtira Unicorn, Dark still enables you to just get your Link material to go into access code and Unicorn that way. And also, when you make Dark, most of the time you're making this with a Scareclaw Lightheart, which has 500 attack, and a Riumheart in defense position. So imagine turning your defense position Riumheart and your 500 attack Lightheart into a Dark that revives a Diabellstar. So you just gained 4k attack on board for free. And that has definitely come up, more so than Accel Stardust. And you'll see in the replays Dark coming up. And speaking of, so this is going to be the ideal combo that's going to get you the full board. And you can do this with a lot of 2-card combos involving Riumheart, Meek, Obsidian, Calarium, and Visa Starfrost. For example, in this case, we have Riumheart, which is going to be Rhoda. Search the Riumheart, and Mannadium Meek. So here, what you do is you would use Riumheart, and you would search the Obsidian, and you special the Meek, and you use Obsidian on the Meek, and add Calarium to your hand, and then the Meek will summon Meek from the deck. And you can modify its level or not, doesn't really matter for this one. And then your Calarium will add you your Visa Starfrost. And you will use the Obsidian Engrave to special the Visa Starfrost in the field. And this is the initial setup. This is what your board should look like at the beginning. After this point, all the combos basically follow the same steps. It's how you get to this board state right here is how you get the setup for the full combo. So you should have a Riumheart on the field with a Meek and a Visa Starfrost, a Calarium, and a Calarium on the field. And most importantly is this is done in 4 summons. So that means on the 5th summon, you synchro Visas and Riumheart into a Baron, and now you're protected from the Biru, and now you start popping up and doing your main plays involving Meek, involving Calarium, reviving Meek, and all of that stuff after what you summon a Baron, so you have a negate up to insulate your combo. And notably, that this combo does kind of get hit by Imperm or Valor on the Riumheart. So for example, if you had a Scareclaw Riumheart, you could potentially bait a Valor or an Imperm by normal summoning the Riumheart first, seeing if they have any of those, and if they do use those, you can chain Riumheart to dodge it, and then you can do your combo after you've already attempted to bait out a Valor. But if you do start your play with a normal summon Riumheart, for example, then you can't make the Baron on the 5th summon, so you play into Nibiru a bit more. So you kind of pick and choose what you play around. Do you want to play and potentially bait an Imperm, or do you want to play completely safe around the Nibiru? So here, now that we're at this set, this is where all the combos follow these following steps. So special Vicious Ashlout, banishing the Riumheart and the Visa Starfrost from the grave. And Vicious Ashlout will pop the Meek. And now you'll trigger both Meek and Calarium, reviving the Meek. And this one, make sure you increase the level of this Meek to level 4. Because now you're gonna synchro Ashlout and the level 4 Meek into Crimson Dragon, and you're gonna Crimson Dragon target your Baron. And that's going to get you out your Dissipator in defense position. And now Dissipator will bring back your banished Visa Starfrost. And here you go into your Scareclaw place. You link off your Visa Starfrost into a Scareclaw Lightheart. And Lightheart will search you your Reichphobia. Now activate Reichphobia. And you're going to search your Scareclaw Riumheart. Even if you start your play with Scareclaw Riumheart, you still need to search a Riumheart so you can special summon it. And now, because you control 3 defense position monsters in this position, you get to search a Scareclaw Arrival, and you also get to draw a card. And now you can link off the Riumheart and the Lightheart into a Cross Sheep. And Arrival will revive your Visa Starfrost, Synchro Visa Starfrost, and the level 2 Meek still on the field into your Amritara, and Amritara is going to search your reframing, your counter trap Omni Negate. Now, special your second Visa's Ashlout, banishing the Riumheart and the Visa's Engrave. Special summon it to the Cross Sheep zone, and use Cross Sheep to revive your Mannadium Meek. Then synchro the Meek and the Vicious Ashlout into your 3rd level 10 synchro. It can be a Chaos Angel, it could be Changing. I prefer Changing because this line surges to Challenge Trap. And now, because Visa's Amritara counts as Visa Starfrost in the field, you can special summon the Lightheart from Grave. And now you link off Lightheart, Amritara, and the Cross Sheep into a format Appaloosa. Or format, jeez. There are 3 material Appaloosa with 3 negates, and then you have a reframing. So this is the full end board, the largest end board you can go. This deck can go for currently, which is going to be 3 level 10 synchros, Baron, Dissipator, Changing, with a 3 material Appaloosa and a reframing counter trap, and you drew a card. The only thing really that this board is missing is that you can't link off for a second Lightheart to search a follow-up Reichphobia. If someone's smarter than me can figure out a way to search a second Reichphobia in this combo while doing everything else, then like let me know, because I'm not smart enough to figure that out. But yeah, you have an Omni Negate off Baron, you have Dissipator that's live with 4 of your banished cards, and if your opponent banishes one of their cards, then you also have the Dissipator can use as a negate. You have 3 monster negates off Appaloosa, and you reframing the Omni Negate counter trap. What's important is reframing also has a second effect where you can banish this card as a quick effect from your grave and shuffle up to 3 Mannadium monsters back into the deck. And because it's a quick effect banish, that can also just trigger your Chang anytime you want. So this is like so many interruptions on board, and you drew a card, you have follow up. You still have 4 cards in hand, by the way. Like this was a 2-card combo, so you still have 4 cards in hand after you made this entire board of like this board is essentially an FDK anyways. I think 99.999% of the time, you're gonna win off this board anyways. So yeah, this is the ideal combo that you want to go for every time. Well, that every time you have it available. Now we're gonna be showing off the 1-card combo. After we do a bit of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Footsies. So Rhoda will add Riumheart, activate Riumheart, get Imperm. I will cross out the Imperm, and then add Imaginings, activate Imaginings, get Ashed, try to put the Meek back because I opened 2, and then I special the Meek, and then get Maxi, and then I will Ash the Maxi. Okay, now that all that BS is gone, okay, all those 3 hand traps, all that nice interactive Yu-Gi-Oh stuff is gone. So here's the 1-card combo, which is just Riumheart, you normal Riumheart, then you would summon a Meek, or add a Meek if you didn't already have a Meek in hand. And then you summon the Meek, and synchro these 2 off into Kit cosplaying that's a synchro monster, Kit Kalos, and then bring back the Meek, and then you go into Amritara. Standard so far. Amritara, add Obsidian, link off Amritara into Lightheart, add Reichphobia. Very important, activate Obsidian. Well, add Obsidian, get Calarium, and then very importantly, activate Reichphobia first to search Reichheart, and then activate Calarium over. You need the Calarium on the field, obviously. And then with the Obsidian engraved, you would summon the Visa Starfire. You just search special back to Lightheart, link off the Lightheart into the second Lightheart, just add the second Reichphobia as follow-up, then special Reichheart, add a Arrival, link these, single into Baron the Fleur, Arrival, summon back any monster, go into Cross Sheep, and then here you would go Vicious Ashtal into the Cross Sheep, don't revive Meek, pop Meek with Baron, that will trigger both Meek and Calarium, so now you get 2 out. Use the level 4 Meek into Crimson Dragon with the Ashloud to summon Dissipator, and then Dissipator will bring back the piece of Starfrost, then you link these 2 off into Appaloosa. So 1 Riumheart will get you Appaloosa, Dissipator, and Baron de Fleur. And yeah, you notice our opponent, the reason we only hit the 1-card combo is because our opponent threw 3 hand traps at us. So, you know, this is not the full board, but after your opponent already used their half their hand on you, this is more than enough. And yeah, that's a nice product of extravagance that's just gonna get absolutely negated out of this world. Yeah. So this is absolutely my favorite way to start a game. Resolve Maxi. Opponent summons Poplar, get the field spell, and then passes. My turn. They wait for main phase, get back the Ash, and then Maxi's me. Excellent. It's slow clap. I love Master Duel. Master Duel is so fucking good, bro. Alright, so good thing is this tactics is live at least because they waited until main phase. So I'm not hand ripping. It's pointless to hand rip. Yes, we're playing the Maxi. We're playing the Maxi challenge because I'm gonna show you how this deck plays through hand traps. Okay, so tactics, draw 2 cards and get Rhoda plus Imagining. So we're gonna add Riumheart, and then we're gonna activate Imaginings, reveal the Riumheart, draw 2 more cards, and put back the reframing because we don't need that shit. So Riumheart, pop the Reichheart, special Riumheart, get Valor. No, we're gonna call by that because we drew that off of the 4 cards we drew off, called off of Tactics plus Imaginings. Unfortunately, we did not open a bit, so we're still playing under this Maxi, but no more Valors to worry about this turn. Add Obsidian, revive Reichheart, get him a draw, link it off into Lightheart, add a Reichphobia, and then activate Reichphobia, add another Reichheart, Obsidian away the Lightheart, get a Calarium, activate Calarium, get Meek, special Meek, get Nibiru. I'm gonna max see that Nibiru, so in fact, we have drawn 6 cards this turn. So we have actually outdrawn our opponent who max seed us on Mannadium. That's actually kind of funny, not gonna lie. Fortunately, we drew a Tactics and an Ash, so those are not very useful draws. We still have the Obsidian Engrave, however, which lets us summon Visa Starfrost, and because Visa Starfrost is on the field, Lightheart summons itself, then Lightheart links off into another Lightheart. to get another field spell. That's we can't activate this turn, so it's not very useful. Special summon the Riumheart, get Cross Sheep, rival back Riumheart, synchro these two into Baron. Our opponent has no more Nib, no more Veilers. Ash doesn't do shit, so I mean, what are you gonna draw, bro? Go into Vicious Ash Loud into Cross Sheep. So when Cross Sheep triggers, Ash Loud triggers, pop the Nib. This is game on board, and they get Veiler, and yeah, nice Veiler, bro. Nice like called by Veiler. So yeah, through honestly, that was not the best Nibiru timing. I'm gonna be honest; they probably should have waited a bit longer, but I don't think it mattered, to be honest. We had so much gas in our hand, and it was like just play through Veiler, Nibiru, and Imperm doesn't really do anything. Ash didn't do anything, so yeah, cool. So another Master Duel game, you know Maxi is involved in this game, so they're gonna add Diabellstar, and I'm gonna Maxi them. And this is probably they have this very funny hand of on Maxi. They have Unicorn for Birth, and then Diabellstar for the counter trap. So they just play all the counterplay to Maxi in their deck. So now I gotta deal with Birth, a Unicorn Rip, and a Omni Negate trap off the Diabellstar. So I turn, we open double Reichphobia, double Riumheart. Not really the ideal hand. You know, we have, I know we have 7 cards in hand, but in reality we only have 5 cards in hand because 2 of them are all literally the exact same. So Reichphobia, see if that baits anything out. Normal Riumheart, and you get Veiler, and you know, probably shouldn't call it by this. I'm gonna be honest. I could dodge a Veiler of Riumheart. I don't know why you know, if that last card was Max C, we would have been cooked. But you know, our opponent, fortunately, is not as skilled as us at drawing Max C, so we're actually fine. And here we at the arrival, then our opponent's gonna Unicorn Rip, and you know, I understand wanting to take the Baron, and it might make sense given what's the last card in your hand, but really consider taking Cross Sheep away from Mannadium. This Cross Sheep is like 3 link material by itself, bro. It's very Cross Sheeping in the extra deck just enables me to kill you off of 2 cards. So just, you know, you're playing with a fire there. Now I'm gonna summon Riumheart, pop the Riumheart anyway. So really, this Veiler, I don't know why I used the fucking call by on the Veiler when I was literally gonna summon Riumheart this way, popping the Riumheart anyway. So yeah, that was just a wasted call by. Whoopsie. And then we're gonna rival back the Riumheart. Right now, I'm just trying to bait out the Birth. I want them to use the Birth. As soon as they use Birth, I'm putting all my stuff into the grave. But right now, I can't do it safely because the Birth will just banish everything. So we're gonna special Meek out first. This way I control 3 defensive monsters. This allows me to Reichphobia, pop their Omni Negate traps. Now they have no more known interruptions. I'm gonna use the Magic, draw 2 cards, put back the Riumheart. And now we baited it out. This is still too early. You don't wanna Imagining this bait. The graveyard effect for imagining to turn my stuff into a tuner literally never comes up. Like this, it has a graveyard effect, but in reality it doesn't, and they take the bait and they birth too early. So now, you really want to save the birth for when I have a Visas in the grave, or when I have an Obsession in the grave to summon out to get a free special summon. But now I can just play for free. Calarium will add Visa Starfrost, and then I will Obsession away the Meek, and I will add a reframe because I already control a Calarium. Then that will trigger Meek, and that will trigger Calarium, and get these 2 out. And then the last card, Nib. So they had Nib, Counter Trap, and a Unicorn, which is not a bad counterplay into Maxi, I'm gonna be honest. And then they're gonna, you know, get the Diabellstar out by sending the Nib, and then that's gonna get them to follow up. I'm gonna Droplet because I don't need the Calarium anymore. I already used it. And did you know this has 2 effects? And you know, I'm gonna be honest, I barely have this card played against me, so I really, and this second effect has almost never come up, so I didn't even know that existed. I was like, what the hell is this? So anyway, my droplets get negated, but that doesn't really matter because I'm gonna, with the Obsidian Engrave, you're gonna summon the Visas anyways, and then that goes to the Lightheart, and then you're gonna link these 2 up in the Cross Sheep, which is what they should have probably removed with Unicorn. And now we go into Astrolaud. Astrolaud is gonna pop the Diabellstar, and then Cross Sheep is gonna revive my Riumheart. And here we're gonna link these 2 off into Dark, and Dark, we call this the NTR, to take our opponent's women, take their Diabellstar, and yeah, that's a free 4.3k damage we just gained on board. With the Astral out, popping a Diabolic Start, yeah, that's game. Oh, yeah, not bad. Not bad. Maxi definitely helped. But, you know, play through Nib, Omni Negate plus a Unicorn Rip, I would call that okay. So here is my rank up game, and this is just the absolutely banger of a hand, bro. This is essentially 0 starters, because Reichphobia is not a starter. It is a fake starter. I do this, I add a Riumheart, I normal Riumheart, I link off into Lightheart for follow-up, I pass. I got nothing after that. So I'm gonna activate a Reichphobia, and it gets ashed. I'm thinking, thank the Lord you ashed me and turned on my tactics. Now I can actually draw into playable. So we're gonna attack this draw 2, and unfortunately our opponent has Maxi, so in fact we cannot physically draw playable anymore because we'll be under Maxi. But here's the great thing about this deck. We draw 2 cards, we draw into Purple Rhino to add Visa Starfrost. Here, since I know I'm under Maxi, I'm gonna summon Riumheart, I'm gonna add the Imaginings. I'm not gonna add a combo piece because I'm not gonna use them anyways. I'm gonna use the Imaginings to reveal the Starfrost and draw 2 more cards. Try to draw into more non-engine. Nice, we drew into a Meek for a follow-up, and we draw into an Ash Blossom. So now despite our opponent did open Maxi Ash, we have our own Maxi Ash plus Impermanent counter versus their 4 cards in hand, so it's not bad. And they're on Labrynth, so in fact this Ash is already gonna solo. They get the normal welcome for some reason. I'm still gonna Ash that, so they're still gonna have nothing, and they're gonna set 1 and pass. So, you know, mission accomplished, I guess. We survived getting Maxi. And now I'm gonna... This was a misclick. I was gonna normal summon this. I accidentally clicked activate because it's right beside the summon button, so I popped my own Riumheart by accident, and I lost the body for free. Whoopsie. I'm gonna add Obsidian anyways, and then special the Meek. I'm gonna Obsidian the Meek. I felt no responses, so I'm like, what could that be? I trigger Meek, get out another Meek, trigger Obsidian, special summon the Visa Starfrost, and it's Super Poly. Discard rollback with a... Damn, that is fucking nasty, bro. The Super Poly discard rollback with an Ice Dragon's Prison Engrave. God damn. And yeah, there's a Garua comes out, so I'm just gonna activate Kalaria. I'm gonna get another Visa Starfrost, and I'm gonna banish these 2 Visa Starfrost to go into Vicious Astral out. Astral pop my Meek. I'm trying to bait out their Ice Dragon's Prison, because as soon as this Ice Dragon Prison is gone, that's your last interruption, I get to play for free. So here I'm gonna trigger both of these. Just they gotta trigger Ice Dragons now, right? Like, yeah, they do. So they're gonna target my Meek, and I'm gonna Maxi them for, you know, 1 draw. A total of 2 Maxis have been activated this duel for a total of 1 draw. You know, gotta love it. Draw into another Riumheart, by the way. My 3rd Riumheart of the game. Pretty clutch, and then this stuff is gonna trigger. I don't care. You can't use this stuff this turn, really. And yeah, so you set those. I'm gonna normal summon the Riumheart that I just grew into Amritara, because I made it a level 4, the Meek. And then you get a rival, you go into Lightheart. This is absolutely game. Reichphobia. You give this deck Mannadium 1 single opening, 1 single play, and you're dead. So Reichphobia, add another Riumheart, special use Starfrost by popping a Lightheart, special back to Lightheart, linking Lightheart into another Lightheart for the flex, because I think I forgot that I already went through both Reichphobia, so that didn't really have anything to search. It's just a weird flex, but okay. Like the special Riumheart, draw a card because there's 3 defense position monsters in the field, and we also get to use Reichphobia's pop because there's 3 defense position monsters in the field. Pop that welcome that you just reset. Go these 2 into Baron, and then revives Riumheart, go into Cross Sheep, and then Vicious Ashed up the 2nd one, trigger Cross Sheep, pop, bring back, and that's game. Yeah, I mean, sorry man, Maxi, Ash, Ice Dragon, Prison, Super Poly, not enough to stop Mannadium, bro. Just ask Triff. Now, this deck isn't fully complete in Master Duel yet. We're actually missing 1 more main deck support card for Mannadium, which is a Visa Samsara, which is just literally just which is basically just a level 4 Visa Starfrost that has the 1521 stat line, so that, you know, that 3 more starters right there for free. So you know that ain't bad. And I have more ideas with this deck that are just gonna make this even more expensive than it already is. So you know, let me know if you're interested in those.